Hey y'all, it's Holly. So I just saw Sinners. They had the red bucket or the blue bucket. Red, red is for the brother Stack. Blue is for Smoke. You've seen the trailers, it's twin brothers, um, both played by Michael B. Jordan. I think having the blue and the red cup is better. They only had the we only had the poster cup. Um, anyway, this is the best vampire shirt I have. I couldn't find my Dracula shirt. Uh, no, so everything you've been hearing about this movie is great. Like, it is great. Um, it's hard for me to really get into spoilers because the trailer does give out a lot. Um, basically, two twin brothers, two gangsters come back to the hometown of sorts in 1930s Mississippi, sorry, Mississippi. And they decide, hey, we're gonna set up this new bar, this new like dance hall kind of thing. They get their cousin to do the music. Turns out he's a special kind of person that like when he plays his music, he kind of pierces the veil between life and death and good and evil. And in doing so, he invites vampires in. Um, or not vampires. He doesn't invite them in. He gets their attention. He gets the vampires' attention, and then it becomes sort of a siege movie. Yeah, because a siege movie where a certain group of survivors, the twin brothers, um, the kid, and like some of their friends have to defend themselves from this onslaught of vampires because they go outside, the vampires get them, they try and so all the vampire tricks like hey, nah, it's me, your brother or your lover, whatever. Come on out, it's good. Hey, why don't you let me in? The interesting thing is that they really play into the idea of like they need to be invited in kind of thing because that's an old vampire bit, whereas like they can't go into buildings without being invited in. They really play into that to the point where it's like, no, you gotta be generous, you gotta be kind. Come on, be human. Let us in. We're all just human. We're all together. Um, it does play with like the race angle too, because like the starting vampires are white, so they're like, nah, we're not a clan. We're cool. We love y'all. Just let us in. Uh, there's one of the really cool things about this, other than it just being really good, because it's Ryan Coogler and Jordan and all of them, but is that it's kind of like a battle of music in a way. So like the main kid, he plays blues. There's other people playing variations of like old black music kind of thing. But the vampires, their thing is like old Irish, kind of old like white Appalachian kind of country. Not Appalachian, like the kind of music you would hear in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, that kind of music. So you have those kind of different versions of like music and like the power of that. Um, it is really a lot about the power of music and how that connects people, how that brings people together, how that brings the past back to them or keeps the past with them, like how they keep their culture. Um, there was I'm trying to remember. I had a thought about that and it's gone now. Oh well, it may come back to me. The cast is great. Everything about this is great. Unfortunately, if you've seen the trailers, you do get a lot of the spoilers. I would do my best to avoid spoilers before seeing this, um, because it does spoil like two of the big kills, so two of the big. But I mean, like you could kind of see it like throughout the movie, but like, oh, yeah, these two are goners. Um, it is nice that there's a community. There's a community, and almost all of them are like, yeah, we know these two brothers are gangsters. We know what they've done, but we're not completely clean either. We know what needs to be done to protect our community from certain people. Like, the brothers are in good, like the whole town's in good with like each other, and like there's an Asian family there, like Chinese family. They're chill with all of them. They know what needs to be done. They're not completely clean of hands either. Um, Haley Steinfeld's in it, and she's comes from sort of a mixed background, but you know, it's still the she is still mostly white, and she still presents white. So it's not like, oh, I can be with whoever I want because 1930s Mississippi. Um, oh, right, yes, I remember. One of the best scenes in the movie, and it's not really a spoiler. It's not a spoiler, but there's a scene where like the main kid, that like the musician kid, is playing his song, and it really emphasizes the power of music, where it shows like old African like music, dancing along with the other dancers, newer stuff. So it goes to rock, hip hop, like all the various dances and music throughout, all intermingled with the new and the old, all at the same time. And then it gets intermixed with like the Chinese folk and their music too, all going at the same time. And it's the way it's shot and like the sound editing and stuff is amazing. Like the sound editing is fantastic because it has to be for because it's based all around music, but it's amazing. Like I talked about how like the sound mix and sound editing for Warfare was great. It's similar to that, where like the movie Warfare, like it emphasized the sounds. This one, its editing is almost in like the shot compositions are built around the music and the sounds of that. It's very interesting, very unique. Um, I really see how this is like grabbing so many people. Like it's rare to see a I don't want to say, oh, a black cinema movie, because it is, but like it's rare to see one where like it's getting this kind of reception and it's a genre piece. Like I kind of saw it with the remake of Candyman, where like some people are like, oh God, it's Candyman, we have to see it. But this one, like that one did really well because that struck like a chord, like a cultural chord, because it brought back people with how well the original Candyman did. But this one, it I could see it really easily being almost a combination of like not Black Panther 1, but Black Panther 2 probably, in terms of like we're all gonna go see this. This is a like huge deal, but it's not a cultural touchstone like uh or like not treated as one like Black Panther 1 was. Like you're gonna have a lot of people come out for it, and it's going to reach a lot, and it's gonna be like, hey, this is the new black movie, this is the new thing, this is the new whatever. And it's gonna like have the same effect, but it's not gonna be the same level. Um, Now, of course, coming from a white person saying all of that, take that with a grain of salt. But as someone who works in a movie theater and had seen the reception for Black Panther, Black Panther 2, Candyman 4, yeah, like so like I've seen all of like the crowds for this, so I kind of know a little bit. Granted, I don't work at Atlantic Station like downtown Atlanta, so I'm not seeing it, but where I am, I still get it. Um, but yeah, the reception for this already is very interesting because I think it stayed at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which take that with a grain of salt because it's Rotten Tomatoes, but it stayed up there for a while, and it's still really high. And you don't get that with a lot of genre pieces. And considering that Coogler's last movie was, I think, Wakanda, I may be wrong on that. No, I think I'm right on that. I think it is. So I think his last movie was Wakanda, and Wakanda was it got like an 80, I think, 80 something. It was well received, but not like gangbusters well received. So this is a huge like jump up. Granted, there's two different completely things because that's tied to Marvel as his own unique thing, but you get what I mean. Um, this this is going to be interesting how this goes because I'm going to be curious on like the staying power for this in terms of like now, of course, it's too early for like awards season talk, way too early. But I am curious on how that's going to play out with this because Oscars or whoever, the awards people don't really like genre films, especially horror. But the performances, the directing, the editing, the sound, all of that, I'm going to be really curious on what happens. There's, this is going to be an interesting year, I feel like, and this one's going to be this is going to be something. Um, there's stuff I want to talk about. There really is a lot, but I feel like okay, yeah. If I'm going to go into spoiler territory now. Before I do that, just a reminder: if you like what you're seeing, if you like my views, if you like just hearing me ramble, please like, comment, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell. Your support, any amount, is very much appreciated. Now let's get to the spoilers. So the spoilers, um, the brother, which one? Stax dies. He gets killed by his girl ex-girlfriend, Haley Steinfeld's character Mary. Because she gets turned because she's investigating the white folk who are trying to get in. Um, and in doing so, it pretty much like almost all those are the two main ones. The out of the Chinese couple, the husband dies. So there's a lot of temptations like, hey, I'm your brother, I'm your husband. I like the really cool thing that they do is it's not just like an individual like vampires like trying to tempt them. No, no, no. They have a mental link between each other. So when one gets turned, all the other vampires know the same thing. So even like the head vampire is like, hey, I know what you like in bed. I know what this is. I know that. So like it's not just one person playing them, it's all of them playing them. So they like it's interesting that way. And then they do tie in like old like voodoo kind of stuff, like very lightly. They don't get into it. Like they get into it, but it's not like heavy enough to be like, oh hey, that's wrong. Or oh hey, like it's there. Like I'm sure it's not wrong. I can't verify it, but like and as a play to the like old voodoo stereotypes you would have seen in the day. Um, but it is there, and it's interesting because it's like they expect one thing. It's like, oh, it's not that. It's vampires. All right, that's worse. But we also had to deal with that. Like that's also fun. It's like they know like oh it's garlic. It's they need to be valued in. It's silver. It's sticks to the heart, which is interesting because those stereotypes, this came in said in 36, early 30s, thereabout, those really weren't set in stone just yet. Like they were just set in stone because the thing is like if you know vampire lore, like how vampire lore started, um, a lot of them started within the book Dracula, but even some of those weren't concrete yet. They weren't like known like within Dracula, they had the silver and some of the crosses and stuff, but the garlic and stuff was more so with the movie. Like even then, the movie barely really touched upon it, but it was like later iterations brought in the garlic, like the sequels. But um, like some of the stuff wasn't like complete knowledge back then. It was brought in later because um, the movie had to bring in something like Dracula, the 1932 Dracula, 1931, 31 Dracula, had to bring in some new things because like the play added a few, everything added a few things. So it is interesting seeing like some of the oh they know what it is, but either it was just recent knowledge or the way they treat it They treat it like, oh, that's ancient knowledge, and it's not ancient knowledge. Um, they wisely though, interestingly enough, they don't bring in the Christian aspect of it, which is interesting. That one I do like because even though like the kid is a preacher's son, they don't really bring that in. It's like, oh, it's not holy water and stuff, which is interesting. I do like that. Um, that is a nice twist, or like because they focus more on like the traditional African response, I would say, because there's even a point where, um, and I really liked this point, um, from a white outsider. Yes, I know, once again, but I do like this point. There was one character who's talking to the preacher's kid, saying, "Hey, this ancient stuff that like this one character she brings in, that we brought with us. Like the other religion was forced upon us." And that's true. That's very interesting that they actually bring that up. It's not really like even discussed. It's just said once that like the characters are aware of. Like some of the characters are completely aware that like Christianity was forced upon them. So like it's not even really the solution to the problem. The all of the like the stuff is tied with the ancient stuff and other like knowledge. That I do like because any other like vampire would be like, oh yeah, no, it's crosses and holy water and Christianity would save the day. But this, no, I do like that. That is interesting. This is another one that I highly recommend in theaters because of the sound design. It was shot and made for IMAX, so if you can see it for IMAX, see it. Otherwise, RPX. Um, and if you can't see it either, seeing it in normal theater is fine. Um, but see this with good sound system too. This is one that you should check out, especially if you love vampires, especially if you love like those like kind of uh, more thought-provoking genre horror pictures. Like when I was watching it, like a lot of people were saying like, oh, it's like Sword Priest 13. I think this actually makes a really interesting double feature with The People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven's movie that he made back in the 90s. Uh, there are elements of like the relationship with the white people. There's elements that kind of feels very similar to what was discussed somewhat in People Under the Stairs. So it's not a one for one. It's not complete like, oh, this is a perfect double feature. But there's elements there that makes it interesting. Like you compare that with that, you compare it with Candyman, even actually more so. So if you want like a horror double feature, you can either pick this and Candyman or this and People on the Stairs. Either one works. So have fun with that one. Like you can pick whichever Candyman. Yeah, maybe not two and three. Maybe three actually, because three's set in New Orleans, I believe. And this one they do mention Louisiana. So if you want to go from great to bad, you actually can easily do that. You can do that. Yeah, maybe do that one. If you do, let me know in the comments how it went. Till next time.